Technology, from smartwatches to computers, is an essential part of our world's daily life. We all either hate it or love it. Today, we are talking about someone who hates it. Theodore John Kaczynski said, "It is not possible to make a lasting compromise between technology and freedom." He is also known as the Unibomber, and our topic for today's video. A serial killer from the late 1900s who's extremely against the use of technology. Ted was born in Chicago on May 22, 1942. He was a very smart kid. His mom recalls sitting on the rooftops reading science books to him as a kid. And later, he graduated school at 15 by skipping both the 6th and 11th grade. His best subject was always math in high school. He would spend hours locked in his room mastering different equations. Yet, he had to take summer school for English to help him keep at the same level as he was in math. In high school, he was part of many clubs such as chess, German, math, and biology club. He had friends and was overall a normal enough kid. But being as smart as he was doesn't make high school easy. One of his former classmates even deemed him as a walking brain. In later interviews, he describes feeling the growing hostility from his classmates who regarded him as a freak. After high school, he went on to attend Harvard University because of his educational success in high school, where he earned his bachelor's in math before moving to the University of Michigan to obtain both his master's and PhD in math. His professors would comment on his ability to show complex math equations at such a young age that not even professional mathematicians would dream of solving. But his college experience at Harvard wasn't just abnormal because of his intelligence or young age. It was also because of a man named Henry Murray. Murray was a behavioral scientist who was obsessed with mind control and breaking people. In Kaczynski's sophomore year, he was selected for the multi-platform assessment of personality development among gifted college men, an experiment, where the goal was to stress these gifted men out to measure their data. After Harvard, he earned his master's and PhD from the University of Michigan, and then moved to teach at the University of Berkeley. This is the time he told interviewers he knew he would start killing. But he didn't just out of nowhere decide he would start killing. It started with nightmares and lack of women, according to Ted. His lack of many sexual partners led to him first wanting to have a sex change, saying, quote, "The only way I will be able to touch a woman is to become one." He got all the way to the point of going to the doctor to discuss getting a sex change operation, but ended up having a change of heart. He describes having this change of heart in the waiting room, and after deciding that he didn't want to get the operation, he wanted to make himself feel better. And what he decided would make him feel better was killing the doctor. And that is where it began. Not with the doctor, but that's what put the first thought of killing in his head. Later that year, he quit his job at Berkeley University without notice and moved with his family back home. For 2 years, he lived with his parents until he moved to a Montana cabin in the middle of the woods. The cabin he built and moved into had no electricity, running water, and for food, he would have to hunt and gather his own. After a year, real estate was slowly encroaching on his part of the Montanan wilderness. This is why he decided he would get back at society and actually start killing. From 1978 to 1995, he sent a total of 16 bombs. 3 people were killed and 26 were injured. His bombs were sent by mail, which was a popular thing in the late 1900s. He aimed his attacks at people he thought were trying to advance modern technology. Told you hated technology. This included a computer store owner, timber industry lobbyist, and advertising executive. The 3 people who died. His arrest was in 1996, and when he was found, they found over 40,000 journal pages detailing his attacks and the making of the bombs. He was later sentenced to 8 life sentences in prison after pleading guilty to manslaughter. But no criminals go out without telling you why they started killing. So now we must talk about his manifesto. In 1995, he attempted to blackmail the New York Times, Washington Post into publishing his 35,000 word essay. Modern day Hamilton, am I right? It was called Industrial Societies and Its Future. The blackmail he used was his promise to resist terrorism if they would just publish his manifesto. How kind of him. His manifesto was all about how people were too distracted by screens and how this would slowly end the human race. He was imprisoned in North Carolina to serve his 8 life sentences. But on June 10th, 2023, he was found dead in his cell. His actions have been attributed to many factors, including his young isolation, high intelligence, and Henry Murray's experiment. But I think it's clear, Ted Kaczynski was made a killer by one simple factor. He was a Gemini. And I will leave you with that. Hope you enjoyed.